Hey everyone, I'm Jessie and I am a knitter and a sewist and a quilter and I live in Atlanta, and I'm gonna share some projects with you today that I have been working on. So thanks for being here. I took a short break because there was a lot going on in my life. I didn't want to do an episode where I didn't really have any important updates because I've been working on things that I've already shown here. So now I'm back because I have some stuff I've been working on that is new and that has been keeping me company these past few months, and I'd like to share it with you. One of the reasons that I haven't been on here in a minute is because this past month I attended a conference in Cleveland in my field, and my book finally was published. And so I got to present on this book at the conference. It is about women and gendered labor practices in the academy. And I edited this collection with my colleague, and it took 5 years to put these beautiful stories out into the world. And so I'm counting this as a very, very exciting finished object because I'm quite proud of it. And the press even sent me the hardback, which is super beautiful. This hardback is over $100, so I'm not going to tell you to buy my book, but please don't buy this one. Buy the beautiful paperback, which is very affordable if you choose to. But yeah, it was really special, and I don't know if I talked about this before on here, but my background is in history, and I have 2 degrees in history, and then I have a PhD in English, specifically in rhetoric and composition. And so within my field, it felt really important to be able to tell some pandemic stories of labor and gendered labor experiences and use those as evidence for how we might labor better. Not only in the academy, because that's really where my context is located, but across all industries, right? But I can't speak to all industries. I can only speak to what I do and what I know. And that's what this book is about. So this is finished object numero uno, and it took 5 years to get here. So it's actually kind of honestly in line with some of my quilting projects have also taken about that long, so it counts. So speaking of projects that take many, many years, this project was born not too long after that book was started. And I shared an update with you guys last time, but I am almost done. I finished the section that I was telling you about last time, and so I want to show you the very last section. This is my Wildabon quilt, and last time I believe I had shown you some of the newest little additions here that I had only basted. I had not yet actually stitched them on, and now they are stitched on, and the very last section here, this bottom right quadrant, is what I have left. So you can see I have some little gold and green buds that are ready, as well as some little flowers here. So these will eventually, this is 4 specific little bits. So once I stitch them, I'll cut them up, and then they'll look, let me see if I can find you an example. Aha, this. So see how there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little pieces of that one. So this was started in 2023, and I am just so excited for it to be done. And it's all hand applique. So every time that I finished, I started with the 3 biggest flowers, and then every time I would kind of go back and pay attention to my composition, location and color and things like that, and I would cut out just a few small floral bits at a time to keep the process like fun. It's a little bit like, okay, if I want to just I want to get right to it, I don't want to cut everything out, especially I don't want to make all those decisions, and even at the time I didn't have all the fabric I wanted to use. So it's been really fun to add sort of in quadrants as I've been going, and I am almost done. So I said this last time I showed up, I showed you a section, and then I was done with it by the next time I recorded. So maybe by the next time I record, I'll even be able to have moved on. Maybe I'll have even moved on to quilting it because eventually I want it to go right up there and replace the beautiful but long serving local quilt, also a Carolyn Friedlander pattern. Because quilts get a lot of damage being on the wall this long and in this much light. This quilt is almost 10 years old. And so it's time for a sibling quilt to go up there. So long-standing quilting project on the last leg. All right, sticking in the vein of quilting for just 1 second, I am in the Faughnan Block Studies class, Block Studies Collective, I think is what it's called. And I've previously showed you this little piece right here, which was the first month. The second and third months, I really fell off. I was finishing a different scholarly project. It's not that one. And I was really not loving, it was some Y seams for a star block, and it was some orange peel blocks, which I do like, but I wasn't really vibing with feeling like I wanted to do curves and the colors. And so I didn't do those 2 blocks, but then the 4th block, which was January, which was called Shattered, I actually did do some experimenting with this block, and it's really cool. It's this is a guest, so it's a Faughnan class, but this pattern, this block is designed by Jen Carlton Bailey of Betty Crockeras, I think, on social media, and she had this really cool technique for curved templates in which you play first with some color compositions, and you sort of improvise where each color goes in the block, and then eventually you trim it into a chunk, what do you want to say, like a quarter of a slice, and then you put in the background color. And so I actually used month 2 colors because I hadn't been vibing with that block or those colors in that way. And I so I had a bunch of fabric sitting around from month 2, and so I used it here on Shattered month 4, and I actually went ahead and, like you can see, it's already quilted. I've already gone ahead and added some batting and some backing to put it together, and I'll probably just make it as a little wall hanging. I really like the nature of the Faughnan, the block studies being like little tiny compositions and experiments, and they don't have to be a full quilt. Kind of getting quilters out of the mindset of feeling like everything has to be a big project. Hello, sweater knitters. But yes, so the 5th month was a really fun one called Pillars, which you can see some little pillars right here. I've not done that many, but I do really like them. And she actually encourages you to stitch them by hand. So, oh, I should grab that one, but that is my very first block right here. I actually, in my whole life, did by hand, like literally stitched the entire block by hand. I do a lot of hand quilting on like finished, to put all the layers together on a quilt, but piecing is almost always done on my machine. So that was a really fun challenge and a very cool experience to get to have to do that. So of course I've gone ahead and cut up a bunch of little pieces and have them in little color compositions together, and I'll be doing some more pillars. So you'll probably see that in a future month. But month 6, I was obsessed with, and so I skipped right ahead and did this shift block. I love this, and I was super inspired actually by one of the participants in the community who posted using some kind of blue with some really nice warm red, orange, pink tones, and I was super inspired. So I pulled out, all of these are from my scrap bin. All of these came directly from literally just bins I have of scraps. Specifically, this is indigo dyed that I hand dyed almost also 10 years ago. I think I did this around 2016. And just had little pieces, right? So what do you do with little pieces? This is English paper pieced. So those are my seams. If you know me, you know I press my seams open. But I know some people find paper piecing to be extremely finicky. I think it's so satisfying, and I think it creates such an impressive result. You just don't have to worry about shifting the seams. And I really like the control that you get with paper piecing, both the size of your little shapes and the ability to control where the fabric goes in the finished product. So I'm going to also do what I did here and just go ahead and put some backing and scrap batting in here and put a binding along the edge. I've been playing with what would actually go here because I kind of love the way it just sort of falls off. But I might try to see if I can finagle some scraps. I might have to piece them together to make binding tape, which would be annoying. But yeah, I'll figure out what will actually go around it. And I'm super, super pleased with this. I just think it looks so stunning and so graphic, so visually appealing. And the way that you do paper piecing, by the way, you're actually stitching onto paper and then you peel the paper off. But so it comes out in the reverse. So you can see the shape of this actually starts out the opposite way because you're sewing onto the paper. And so then the finished block is what's on the back. So essentially the lines here are the reverse, they're on the back side. So that's really cool. There are actually other versions of this block. So I can put some right here. Her blocks, this block has variations, and this is the like beginner kind of easy variation, and then there's a more challenging one that's hexagons. But the thing here is that I still think that these are beautiful, and one of the reasons I joined block studies was because I really like Tara Faughnan's sort of color play and taking very simple shapes and making them very compelling and interesting. And so I actually joined with the hope that everything would be squares, and then two of the first 3 months were triangles and curves and orange pill blocks, and I wasn't feeling that. So I really like this, and I intend to make one with the hexagon shape too, but I'm playing around with what kind of fabrics I'll be using for that too. So the class is actually over. We have all 6 months now, but I've been enjoying being inspired by other people's compositions as well as hers. And now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, I'll be going back to finish and experiment with some of the other months, and definitely going to be doing a sister project to this one using the hexagons as well. So those are my finished little experimental quilt blocks. Okay, I have 2 more sewing projects for you, and they are garments. As I mentioned, I was working on a really intense scholarly project through the end of February. And so the last few months of 2025 and the first 2 months of 2026 were extremely, there was a lot of demands on my time that were outside my work and outside sleep. And so basically I'm writing another book. So I had a deadline, I had a press deadline, and I absolutely had to devote time, like even after dinner, I'd be like, okay, I have to go into my office and do more work. So I was really excited to approach March and have some time for projects, but also then immediately had to go to that conference. And so March has been a little bit of a transition, I think, into using my brain for other things. So I've been able to do some small projects. I worked a lot on Wildabon. Actually brought that with me to the conference so I could like quilt in my hotel room at night. And that was really, really nice. I've been doing this thing where I will take like one project on a trip, and so then I have to work on it, and it tricks me into getting projects done. So that's been really, really cool. And I've been really enjoying kind of dipping my toe back into some projects, including some knitting, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I'm excited to have cut out finally and had some time to cut out some new patterns that I want to make for garments, and as well as some additional items that I know that I use a lot, or that I want a lot, that I want more of. So the first one up is a Weiland tank, and this is a pattern by Elbe Textiles, and it's a little knit shirt, like a tank top. So it looks, I have it cut out here, just the top, and it has a little built-in shelf bra, which I love. I've made one before in some sort of fabric that I just had that was knit that I had picked up at like a secondhand shop, I think. And so I've made it, and I love that, and I wear it a lot. So this is actually some really, really nice bamboo knit from Blackbird Fabrics that I bought maybe even in 2024. It's been a minute since I've had this. I bought like a little baby half a yard, which is insane person behavior. And so I had enough to cut out the front, the back, the shelf bra for the front, and then that was the end. And so the lining of the back will actually be, so the shelf bra back will actually be this cute leftover. I actually bought this in Germany, and I made some cute little like burklaus for my niece a year or two ago. And so this is a cute kind of just like cream and black. That'll go as the back inside. And what's nice about this is actually one of the problems I have with my first version of this tank top is that I constantly don't know whether it's the front is the front or the back. There's supposedly a little extra room for a CD cup in the pattern in the version that I made, but it's so undetectable that, by at least how I made it, that I really can't tell which is front and back. And even the elastic, like the you're supposed to have the elastic like where you connect it in the bra be the back, but I am unconvinced, like I maybe did it wrong and it's the front. I don't know. Every time I wear it, I think I swap it out. It has a curved neck, which is the same in the front and the back, and there's also a V-neck variety. So it's a really well-designed tank, and she has an awesome tutorial for the trickiest part, which is sewing the side sleeve armholes together. And she has a video for that on her website, which is fantastic. And that's what I used the first time. So I plan to whip up this little purple tank top. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I have more of this in more yardage in black. And I think I'd like to make another one of these in black, as well as a little pair of plateau joggers, the shorts version. So I can put a little picture here of what plateau joggers look like. And I've made 2 pairs of the joggers in the full length version, and I love them. And I would honestly love a pair of a full length of these, another pair in black, but I don't think I have enough yardage to do both a tank top and a pair of black joggers. And I already have several pairs of black joggers that are like ready to wear. So probably shorts are going to be good, and it's such soft bamboo fabric. So I'm really excited I'm excited to have a couple of tanks that are so soft and wearable, and then also a little pair of black knit shorts to wear. So that'll be upcoming, and I'll probably be able to share the finished object with you next time I record. Okay, my final sewing project for you, my final garment project, is an in progress Cameron button-up. I love making dress shirts, button-up shirts, and this is a pattern by Helen's Closet that was kind of the best of a lot of things I was looking for. So it has a traditional collar, because a lot of them that I own, that I've made, that I love, have like a band collar. And so they don't have the traditional like collar, and this one does. And it's also unisex, so it doesn't have a bust dart. And I was looking for something that would be a little bit boxy, that has the full placket, So I have, I'm thinking the Donnie shirt is also boxy, does not have bust darts, but it's a pullover. And so it has a really great collar, but it's more of a camp collar. It's also just like your traditional button up. And so I wanted a traditional button up. So you can see I'm not done. It's not sewn together yet on the sides, and it does not have sleeves or a collar, but it has a cute little back yoke. So you can see I did the fabric, which is Fabulism fabric, by the way. I love the print. I did the little back yoke in the opposite direction, so that's really cute detail. And I also did the pocket that same way as well. And I'm excited to see how this fits. And I should mention the sleeve here, there's 2 versions of the sleeve. So you can do a full-length sleeve that has a sleeve placket, which I think is one of the most challenging things to do in sewing. And I have done it several times, and it's fine, but I don't get excited about doing it. But I'm doing the short sleeve version, so it will be a little bit of like almost like the sleeve. And if I was able to get this out of 2 yards, or maybe even 1.5 yards of this Fabulism fabric, and unfortunately Fabulism fabric, while it's really cute, is narrow. It's not like a lot of garment fabrics you can buy that might be like in the 55 to 59 inches wide. This is only like 45 inches wide. And so you're not able to get as much bang for your buck out of like 2 yards, let's say. And so I wasn't even going to be able to cut a full long sleeve out of this if I wanted to, but that's okay because I think it's really fun and fresh, and I think I can wear it to work with the short sleeve, but also with some slacks, and it'll look really nice, but I can also dress it down as well. And I think the color is really bright and fresh and fun. And so yeah, I'm excited to have this done and show it off to you. And it also has this really interesting, I've never done a placket this way, where you actually gonna fold, you fold it back on itself. And so it creates this really interesting, I don't know if you can tell, like specific line in the design, which is really, really neat. So this fabric is actually insane. If you look at it on the front, it looks so nice. And on the back, it is literally woven. So I've been having issues near the seams of it just coming undone. So it's a super, super interesting fabric. I feel like a lot of sewists have been on the Fableism bandwagon, and so I had to buy some, and so far I think I'm struggling to feel like it feels like me or like I would wear the garments. But that's why I definitely opted for this to be a shirt and not a dress, because I think I will find a dress that's all in a bright fabric to be maybe more challenging for me to wear, but we'll see. And I'll definitely have a finished shirt for you the next time that I record. Okay, so now it's on to some knitting works in progress, and I have 3 projects to show you today. They're all works in progress. I don't think I have any finished objects. The last thing I finished was my step-by-step cardigan, which I am obsessed with and I wear all the time. So high regards to the step-by-step cardigan. If only cardigans were more fun to make. So the first work in progress I have for you is made with this really cute Snug and Spun yarn. This color is called Scared of Ghosts, and my friend got it for me last year. I've talked about her before because she designed Snug and Spun's logo, and so she got some yarn so that she could use it in photographs for her brand. This is a BFL twist sock, which is 80% BFL and 20% nylon. And what's fun is then, because she's buying it for her work, but then she's like, Jessie, you get these when I'm done with it. So, and we also are longtime scary movie lovers, and we watch scary movies together. So she liked the Scared of Ghosts name, and I am making her the Camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. So I'm making her this camisole. And I did last summer. This is a pretty old whip. I started this last year. I've just never showed it to you. I did all the shaping. I honestly don't even know right now which is the front or the back, but I did all the shaping of the armholes and the neck hole last year. And so I stopped literally right when I got to join the body, as one does. And then as the fall season arrived and I didn't want to knit a tank top anymore, I spent less time on this. But you can see in the past couple of weeks, I've picked it back up and I've knit precisely this much under the arm. So it's just a bunch of stockinette in the round at this point, and then I'll go back and do the neck. I'll probably have her try it on once I'll probably stop when I get to the end of this ball of yarn. And move on to this one. And then I will do the neckline and let her try it on and see how it's fitting on her body with the neckline done, because it's a pretty high collared tank top when it's done. It's sort of high collar with the open, like a racer, the very in style right now. So I'll have her try it on then, and then I'll see if how much more I need to add to the body, and then finish off the sleeves. So I had told her last summer, she didn't ask for a tank top, but she gets one. I had told her last summer that she would probably get it this summer. So that means I do hope to have it done in the next couple of months so she can wear it, and she can find out why tank tops that are hand knit can be really hit or miss depending on the sweltering Georgia climate. So, but that's for her to figure out, and she can wear it inside. Okay, my second work in progress is an Olga blouse, because I've seen a ton of Olga sweaters and I'm obsessed with them. It's a petite knit pattern, but I live in a hot climate and I really like linen quill, and I have one garment in linen quill where I held it together. That's my summer sweatshirt or something by Jessie Made Designs, and I really like the linen quill, and I like how it has worn over time, but it's a little bit thicker because it's held double. So this is literally just linen quill held single, and I am making the blouse version, which is her I think she calls for sport weight yarn, whereas the Olga sweater calls for like a DK weight yarn. So this is the Olga blouse, but it'll essentially be a fingering weight sweater. And it's the same construction, I think. So you can see I've just started the front where I've joined the left and right shoulders, and now I'll be knitting back and forth in the flat to finish the front before I connect them. So this is the back, and I specifically decided to use the same color, I think it's wheat flour, that I had used on my other sweater, because I had an extra skein of it, and it's going really, really, really far with the sweater. The other skein is this very, very bright linen quill that I'd had for years that I think I got as a Christmas gift from like my sister-in-law, nieces and nephews, who just like picked out a color that they liked for me. And so I thought together that they would be pretty fun because you'd get the brightness, but you'd also kind of have it toned down a little bit with the cream. And I think it actually does look kind of fun. I know that this is going to stay really soft and really wearable, really lightweight. Linen quill has some linen in it, and so that adds a really nice drape and effect to, sorry if the microphone was messed up. That adds a really nice drape and effect to a project. And so I'm actually really excited about this. I think it's going to be a really fun garment to wear once I'm done. Of course, it's a slow one, but the stripes make it more fun. The stripes actually help to feel like you're making progress, and it also makes it really easy to count how far you've gone or how far you have left to go. And so this has been a really fun project so far. I like a top-down drop shoulder, and I even like the details that she has where you knit the stripes even in the ribbing of both the body and the sleeves, and so it has a really like almost waterfall effect where the stripes just go right off the end of the garment, and I really like that about this design. And so I'm excited to have both I think, like, while it's bright, still like a bright neutral sweater that has that really cool stripe detail and the effect at the edges. So I'm excited to keep working on this and have a cool linen quill finished garment when I'm done. Last but not least, this is probably the thing I've been working on the most with the most diligence since I picked knitting back up, kind of really got into my groove here in March, and that is my Comebackigan cardigan. So my Comebackigan cardigan, I think I've shared this before, but this is my very cute project bag from Republica Unicornia with my little soda pop cans. That's where it's been living, and I started this last year. Comebackigan is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it came out last spring of 2025, and I really liked the texture of it. Again, a cardigan is just my most worn garment. It's the easiest thing for me to wear inside, outside, at work, at home, in any season. They're the most wearable. And so I decided I needed to do this cardigan, and I really liked the shape of it, and I really like the texture because it means that you're not having whole rows. You know, if you're making a cardigan, you're knitting all the way around your body, and then you're purling all the way around your body back. And that's a lot to do. And you know, in my climate, I love a fingering weight garment, but a fingering weight cardigan is like rough. Tell that to my cottage Cardi that I made a few years ago. A pattern by, I think, Jacqueline Cieslak, and that took me forever, and I hated it. Unfortunately, I do like the finished garment a lot, but so I thought that with this little stitch pattern, it would actually be quite fun to do, and even better, this is one of those patterns where you start with the sleeves. I think you actually start with the pockets, but I don't like pockets on cardigans. They're not useful. So this is sleeve 1 and sleeve 2. And the reason that I am not further, even though I started this last year, is that I knit one whole sleeve and then like tried it on, put it on my arm and decided that it was a little too snug and I wanted my sleeve to be a little bit more, less tapered, almost like a straight sleeve. But what I realized I could do is I only had to tick back a little bit, I think, maybe a couple of inches. And I just did a little bit more, you can probably almost see when I went like extra here. I just did more increases. I made the sleeve longer than it called for, but I made it to where I will really like it. So you can tell where it's going off my arm here, and it's going to go up kind of into my armpit. So what you do is you knit 2 sleeves, and then you knit the body, and then you join them all together and you do your decreases up here like this, which is a really fun way, I think, to make a sweater. I think her nurtured sweater is that way too. So I really like when you can do the sleeve as your gauge swatch, because it means you can be a little bit lazy and just go ahead and cast on a sleeve, and it's a little bit less painful if you have to adjust your gauge because you've only worked on this part of the garment. And it's actually, I mean, it's such a good little texture here. I really like the texture, and I actually kept track of my increases this time. So all of these little blips were over here, and when I would get to the next increase, I would just take it off this sleeve and put it on this sleeve so that I could keep track of how many increases I had made and how frequently I had made them so the sleeves actually match. Very good self-control on my part. And then these are just on hold while I finish the body, which is plugging right along. So I cast this body on, of course I'm in the middle of a row, but I cast this body on 10 days ago, I think. So you can see there's the middle of the body of the cardigan, and I did the ribbing. I actually did a tubular cast on, which I find to be pretty much never worth it. I will love doing a tubular cast off on a hem, on the sleeve of a cuff, but I think on a body, it's lost to most people. But I don't know, it was a Friday night and I was feeling motivated to do it, and so I cast on hundreds of stitches via the tubular cast on, and then I did the ribbing, and then I've been moved on to the body. So I am fully in this. I'm going to make it a smidge more cropped than this pattern calls for, because I'm finding that the length of my step-by-step cardigan is super wearable. It hits me at just the right spot, which is about 9 to 10 inches under my underarm. And so that is what I will do. I'm also determining, I have 3 balls of this. So I'm determining whether I need a 4th one. So I have it in my cart on the internet, and it's a pretty distinct colorway, so I probably should go ahead and do it. I got this yarn, it's La Bien-Aimée, it's La Bien-Aimée and Rosa Pomar Modim. So it's like their collab. I got this at the Black Mountain Yarn Shop in Asheville, North Carolina, or Black Mountain, North Carolina, which is like a little suburb of Asheville. And it's obviously a really well-known yarn shop, I think, like throughout the knitting community, but it's cool that it's like kind of within a drive for me of a place that we actually go sometimes. And so we went to Asheville last March or April, and I got 3 skeins of this, and I really, really like it. It's definitely a woolly wool, but it's got a really nice stripe and a really nice texture, and so I'm very excited for this to be a finished cardigan. But you also do a double knit neckband, and I loved doing the double knit neckband on my step-by-step cardigan, and so I'm excited. That's actually part of the reason I picked this project up again, because one, it's not just purling and knitting back and forth, it's got a fun texture, but 2, it has a double knit neckband. I am a fan. I am a convert, especially if you are a person whose ribbing is always loose. I just think it looks so polished on the neck as opposed to a ribbed neckband. So I might even be subbing that in for future cardigans. But I also really like the color. It's a really nice, like it looks really gray, I think on the camera, but it's a really nice like green gray, very like muddy teal, almost like not teal, sage. It's like a sage color. So that is my most frequently knitted right now project. This is the one I'm grabbing in the evenings. This is the one I'm pulling out if I have to sit through a 30-minute Zoom meeting where I'm not talking, things like that. So I hope to actually have this done sooner rather than later. And I'm feeling like even fairly monogamous with this right now, which is very strange. Though I did work on my Olga a little bit last week, and I am trying to get that tank top done for my friend. So that's what I'm working on right now. I don't really, besides my book, right, nothing was finished, but there's a lot of stuff in the works, which is very exciting. And I have time now, so I'm even going to be turning back to some of my spinning, which has been fallen by the wayside as I have more time. It's nice to see you again around the internet. I hope that you were working on something fun and cozy while you listened to me chatter, and I hope to see you again soon.